Hello and welcome to episode number 26 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast, where we talk all about the hobby that makes us happy, tabletop gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
And I'm Jim, and today we're going over GenCon.
We're tired.
It's been a long weekend.
It has been a long weekend. So we just got back from GenCon it was a couple of days ago now, something like that.
Sunday. Today's what day?
I don't even know anymore. I don't know. Yeah. It was a couple days ago that we got back. Yeah. So you can probably tell just by looking at us that we're tired. But like it's a good tired. Yeah. Like it really, really is. So yeah, we got back from GenCon. So GenCon was Thursday to Sunday.
Yes.
So Thursday to Sunday, and Saturday night, we stayed out until basically the hall closed.
Yeah, they kicked us out. They turned off all the lights.
So if you follow us on Instagram, I documented like that whole day. I documented that day really, really well. So if you actually go to our Instagram, I have all like everything I posted Instagram saved in the story highlight. So if you go to our page, you can just watch all the stuff that I posted. And like I'm videoing as we're leaving. I'm like, yeah, they're kicking us out. Like it was pitch black. I was not ready for it.
Yeah.
Like apparently, I mean, I guess so. This was our first GenCon, right? Mm-hmm. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But we didn't really know what to expect. we really, really didn't. I mean, had you been to the convention center before?
I've been there. I've been there for Star City Games, and I think I was there for 2 Star City Games. Okay. So for Magic stuff, yeah, I was there before.
Okay. All right. And so I'd been there before as well, for like a Magic Fest. So we both been there for Magic. Yep. But when I'd been there, they did not have all of that space open within the convention center. I think GenCon took up like the entirety of the location because it was huge.
That main one hall, I do want to say that a Star City game took up, if not all of it, I'd probably say like 80% of that main open hall where all the games were. Yeah, it was really big.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Magic Fest was really big, but I know it was not. They did not take up the whole space. Yeah. I know that there's no way they did. They could have. Yeah. They could have. But I don't think so. Again, I mean, this is just going off of our memory, and it's hard to tell. Yeah. If you have never been there when everything's open, like you don't really know what to base it off of. Yeah. But it was ginormous. So the first day we got there, we're just like, dude, where do we go?
Yeah, I had like no idea. I'm like, there's a bunch of tables set up. I'm like, where is it people get to sit and play stuff? Mm-hmm. Like they had a bunch of demos that we later found out you had to reserve a spot for, schedule
like I knew they had those. Yeah. But I didn't know that that's like where they were demoing all that stuff. Like I thought they were going to do it like a separate, but again, I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. I had no idea. No clue.
I've never been there for this. So,
no, but there was, which one? Oh, it was Evian, right? I think that was where we had originally went over and we're like, yeah, we just found out about this and they told us to come over and try it out. And we found out, oh, we need a ticket to do it. Okay. I couldn't even remember if we had to pay for that. I wonder if it was free. Some of the demos were free, and some you had to have, like some you had to pay for, like a lot. But most of the demos though, you still had to get like a ticket for to actually sit down and participate in the demo.
And I don't think it was a lot. It was like what, $2 or something.
Some of them, most of them were pretty cheap. Like if they were charging for demos, it was cheap. But some of them were free. Probably a good chunk of them were free. Yeah. Like Skyter, which was free. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about a lot of these.
We're going to talk about a lot.
I can't wait to talk about Evian.
Oh, dude, same. But our first day, it was just we were just like
dumbfounded.
Seriously, we had, and dude, we didn't even experience everything that there is to do, because they had there were a lot of rooms that you could go in, and there were like Lost Ruins of Arnak, Czech Games. They didn't. I don't think they actually had a booth set up in the main hall. They had like their own separate room somewhere. Yeah. And we didn't go there.
Yeah, we didn't know about that till what, day 3 or day 4?
At least.
Late day 3, like I want to say. And so the first day when we got in there, it was probably around like 11 o'clock.
The first day?
Yeah, when we got there.
Oh, that's right, because we drove up. We drove up the first day.
Yeah.
And that was because I thought the whole place opened at like 10.
Yeah.
But I found out that was just the exhibit hall where the exhibitors
are and everything. Yeah.
Right.
And then we later found out that the place opens at like 7 o'clock.
And I think normally it doesn't even close.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it normally did. And the reason they closed it from 12 to 7 was for cleaning. But I don't know. I don't know how it normally is.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't surprise me that it closed from 12 to 7, but I don't know how it normally is. But yeah, apparently it opened every day. Like the hall for all the games opened at like 7.
Yeah. So every day after Thursday, we were there like really early on in the morning.
Yes.
Like pretty much as soon as they opened, within the hour.
Yep.
And, but from going inside of there on the first day, on Thursday, we went through the entire like first hall area, and then we went into the exhibit area where all the vendors were. By the time we had our first break sitting down, it was 2:30.
Yeah.
We walked around for quite a while.
Yes.
Like there was so much stuff, and I don't even think there was no way we even saw everything.
No, absolutely not. No way.
The first time going through it. And then I was like, well, now what do we do? Oh, now it was time to play Magic at that point.
Yeah, and we played a lot of Magic.
Yeah.
We did, and honestly, I don't think I'd really have it any other way this time, because we just, we love Magic. Right?
Although
it's a lot of fun.
I probably would have changed that last Magic thing we did.
Dude. Okay, so we did a 2-headed giant draft for Innistrad Midnight Hunt, the new set that literally like just came out.
Yeah, pre-released this weekend.
Yeah. And so I've drafted before, but I've never drafted 2-headed giant. I've never played 2-headed giant before either. So I'm like, you know what? There's 2 of us, like we should do it. Like, and we both kind of really wanted it. We both wanted to do it.
It was enjoyable. Yeah. It just took a lot of time.
It took like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's exaggerating it either.
No, I think they were saying it was like 2.5 hour long drafting setup.
Yeah.
And then you have time to build the deck, and then you have to play your first match, which we won, go into the second match.
Which we should not have won that first match, basically.
Ooh. I mean, am Dan, I right? I'm kind of a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, he was missing stuff.
Yeah, he missed quite a bit of triggers. I think if our opponent would have caught all of the triggers, we probably.
Well, the problem was he wasn't doing each opponent. The card stated each opponent, so every turn we would have, every single time we would have been taking 2 damage.
2 versus 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, kind of
because we had gotten down to 1 life. I believe we went
down to 1 life.
Yep.
So there was for sure, I mean, that 1 damage should have happened. Yep. It was just he didn't realize how the card worked.
Yep. And which in a tournament setting, if you miss your own triggers,
the judge will just say continue as is.
Yep. So like if that's something you realize if you get into tournament play, like honestly, probably in any game, any card game, it's if you have to know what you're doing, and you have to catch it. If you miss it, that's on you.
Yeah. I think there was one time I noticed he missed the trigger, and I didn't say anything. I looked at Dan and I shook my head. I don't know if you remember that. I looked at him and just shook my head.
Yep.
So that was a good game though.
Yeah, it was fun. Like the games were fun. Those games were fun. The first game was more fun than the second game.
Yeah.
But both of those games were extremely close. We could have won the last game. We could have.
Yeah, we could have.
It was close.
It was close.
But the moral of the story that I realized was not doing a 2-headed giant draft. Yeah. And it's not, but the thing is, it's just because it took so much time. Like there were so many other things that I really wanted to do there, honestly.
I think really the bad part was since all of these cards were new, we had no clue what they did.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really look into a whole lot of the spoiler season going on. And I'm just like, oh, what does this card do? And then had to read like 5 lines of text. What's the next card do?
Yeah.
And then later on, I was just like, take all the white cards, put them to the back, put all the green cards, hand them to you. And I'm like, what else do I have here in Grixis?
Right. Right. Yeah. And honestly, because Limited, it is its own animal. Because it really is. Like, if you're going to play Limited, you have to know the set. You got to know the good cards to draft. And I didn't know. I did not know the set at all.
Yeah, we were just like, let's find some cool combos. And we definitely did.
Oh,
we found
100%.
some really good stuff.
I like the set. I do like the day-night mechanic. I think it was really cool. Especially there's a lot of weird different interactions for Two-Headed Giant.
Yeah.
So never playing Two-Headed Giant before. we had to really figure a lot of stuff out on the fly. But it was still fun. It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. But for taking 5 hours, I probably would have rather have done quite a few other things.
Yeah.
My biggest thing that this whole weekend was I just wanted to go have a good time, enjoy ourselves, not worry about content. Because like at GenCon, there's so much content that you could be creating there, recording. But I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go enjoy it, have a good time. And like, because we didn't know what to expect. We're just like, I have no clue what's going to be there. So I did not want to worry about, okay, well, I have to do this and this and this. And I walked around the whole time with my backpack, right? And I brought my camera and I brought one lens. I never once got it out. Never once got it out. Because, I obviously I could have used it. But I was just like, I'm not worrying about anything. I just want to enjoy stuff and have fun. Yeah. And I think we did.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We did. So probably my favorite thing from day one was Dinosaur Island or Dinosaur World.
Was that day one?
That was day one.
Man,
that was day one. All right. So I've got Dinosaur World back there, which it was a fun game. I enjoyed that game.
Sorry if you're listening out there, guy.
I enjoy that game. It's fun. But as we're walking around the exhibit hall, we walk by the Pandasaurus Games booth. Okay. And so we sit down for a demo because the guy's like, hey, you guys want to sit down for a demo? We're like, yeah, sure. We'll sit down for a demo. So we sit down. So it's me, Jim, and then another guy, and I don't know if it was his son, but it was an older gentleman and a younger guy.
Yeah.
So they sat across from us, and the volunteer who was explaining the game to us. So this is day one. The guy was acting like it was day 4 and he was ready to go home.
Yeah, it was.
Am I wrong?
For him, so the exhibit closed at what, 6 p.m. every day?
Yes,
correct?
The exhibit hall closes.
So for this guy, it was like 5:30 Sunday. He's ready to get the hell out of there.
And it was like at 11:30. This is like right around 11:30 noon.
I want to say it was noon that
yes,
when we started.
When we started, we're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, that guy was not happy to be there at all.
No.
And he was able to teach us the game, but the other guy who was there and sat down with us, he was asking really good questions.
Yeah, he had a lot of good questions.
And this guy was just like, I don't know. I'd have to check. I'd have to ask someone.
Let me look at the rule book. Oh, you know what? I don't know.
He's like, we're just going to do it how I want. So like it was probably around 15 minutes that he was going over the game.
Yep.
And roughly around the 10-minute mark, I start cracking some jokes.
If you know Jim, and this happened so many times over the weekend where Jim is cracking jokes. He's memeing. I'm memeing
these people.
And people were taking him seriously. I had to explain to so many people, I'm like, guys, he's kidding. He's kidding. There were a few times, so not to get off topic, but I do want to mention this. So there were so many times we're playing a game and we're rolling to see who goes first. Jim rolls a 1. He's like, okay, I'm going first. And then people were like, okay. I'm like, guys, he's kidding.
We won't point out any names, John. We won't point out anyone. Hey guys, that was for Magic.
Poor John and Will. That was funny. Like they would legit thought you were being serious. I'm like, no, guys, he's kidding. He's kidding.
Inside Dinosaur World, right?
Yes.
You get these boredom counters, and I was like, could I maybe get one for myself while this guy was talking?
But you didn't say that.
I didn't know. I told Dan this later. I'm like, that would have been so mean to say.
Because that's a legit mechanic. So as you're going through your park, like every time you visit an attraction, you get a boredom counter because you don't want your guests to see the same thing.
You're going on a tour with everyone inside your Jeeple, TM Jeeple. They can't call it Jeep. So
the guy was trying to make a joke about that. We're just like, no, it kind of fell flat. It kind of fell flat. I did feel for the guy a little bit, but when you're trying to get people excited for your game, what does that say about me? Like, I got it. I had already gotten it. Anyway.
Yeah, you already bought
gotten it.
And he's like, you want to sit down for a demo? Yeah, I should probably learn how to play the game I bought. That makes sense.
But at that point, I'm like, wow, do I even want this anymore?
So as he was bringing up these boredom counters, and he was talking about how people get bored at your attractions. They're on the tour inside the Jeeple, and I asked him a question because he talks about how inside the game you can have people die. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, if people die, does that get rid of the boredom counter? And I asked him this. He's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, but how?
Like, if people die, shouldn't that make the attraction more exciting?
Especially, what if like we flip a coin 50-50, the person who was bored died? Then that should reduce the boredom counter. Like, dude couldn't change my mind. Like that.
So I'm laughing. The other older gentleman is laughing too because he gets it. But the guy explaining the game was just like, that's not how the game works.
Yeah, like I couldn't get this dude. So that was the first time I tried making this guy laugh.
Oh, what was the other time?
I forget. I don't know. But I think there was another time towards the end, and this dude just would not laugh at all.
Oh, he would not.
But the older gentleman that was there with us, he was laughing.
He was having a good time.
And the kid who was sitting next to him paid no attention to me at all. Like he didn't say a thing. I don't even think he wanted to be there.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
The kid was probably like 14 or something. I don't know.
He was sitting there like this.
His head was down. He was like this.
Oh, yeah.
The entire time.
I just mentally he was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's like, Mr. Funny Man over here. I'm not laughing at nothing he says.
Yep.
So
when he got done, we're like, okay, thank you. See ya.
Yeah.
Like that meme.
Yeah.
And then just.
Yeah, that was rough.
And then just cross dissolve out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we went there the first day, but as we're walking around, there's like I think it's called like Artist Alley where they have all the artists. Mm-hmm. And so Jim visited this same guy, at least once a day. Jim, you want to tell him about it?
At least once a day. I believe his name was Ken. I forget his last name. And so this guy had a lot of different artworks for animes or video games, things along those lines. And he had one for Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter, Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note. Like he had a lot of different things out there.
If you're into anime, you would have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you would have really liked this artist. And so I was there. I saw he had a Death Note thing. And so I was for sure getting it. And then I was looking more at these other artworks. Mm-hmm. I was more so not really wanting to get the Naruto one because it was more expensive. But the more I looked at it, I'm like, I'd pay more for this thing, honestly. So I ended up picking 3 of his artworks up. A Naruto one that pretty much told the entire story from the beginning of Naruto all the way to the end of Shippuden and at the start of Boruto. And then just all the details that he had inside this thing. I was staring at it for so long. Me and Dan go have lunch. I didn't say a single word to Dan.
Whenever he got it, we went to lunch not soon thereafter.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like eating. And he's just like,
I'm eating my pizza. I'm holding this picture in my left hand, using my right to eat, and that it was just I was staring at this thing for at least 20 minutes while we were eating, and I'm like, oh, I saw this or I noticed this. I'm like, oh my god, he did that, So just some really really good detail in there, and
I know nothing about Naruto. Yeah. I know zero things, but I was looking at the piece and. The attention to detail and the amount of detail that were in the piece was absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So as he's explaining the things, I'm like, again, I know nothing, but as he's explaining, I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was saying from the bottom of the picture, the start of the story, all the way to the top, the ending of the story. And then you follow Naruto's life that is starting in the bottom left, which is where he had like the loser character or the enemy of the village. And it slowly progresses to the center where he meets Sasuke. And Sasuke's starting point was in the bottom right, where the winners were, or the hero of the village. And then they meet in the center, if you guys know the story, which is where they have their fight. And then they kind of separate going into different things. So it makes this X pattern with their storylines. So it's Sasuke going from the stronger one of the two, going to being the enemy of the village. So
yeah, it was really cool. I knew nothing, but the one anime that I know is Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple of things in that piece that I got blown away because I know that story.
Yeah. And the guy Ken, the artist, he was going over one of the pieces with another person. Dan wasn't there, and I overheard. I'm like, oh man, I really got to see this. And he was talking about how inside the door of truth in Full Metal Alchemist, right behind the crest, you could see the body of I believe it was I always mix up the two's name, Al and Ed. I believe it was one of their two bodies. Or no, it was Truth. Correct? I forget. I don't know.
The body should have it should have been Alphonse.
Yeah.
Al.
Okay.
Because Al was the one in the suit.
Yeah.
Al was the one in the suit.
Yeah, he was the real Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes. My favorite thing about that show is his voice in the English dub.
Yeah.
He's just like this high pitched kid in like this giant metal suit. It's like, one of these things doesn't match here.
And whenever like they see the two as a combo, they'll always be like, oh man, I see why they call you the Full Metal Alchemist, which is why I made that joke.
Yes.
And
if you've never seen that show, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. And he's like, no, sorry, that's my brother. And they're like, what? The pipsqueak?
Yeah.
He put a lot of really good stuff into those as well.
Yeah. That art was just awesome. There were so many artists there.
Yeah.
I got to see the artist for Sakashima of 1,000 Faces, Jason Engel.
Yes.
So I got a couple of my cards signed because I love that card.
He even went out and got a Sakashima etched foil, I believe, right?
Do we got to talk about that?
Yeah, we do.
We gotta talk about
he went out and got a foil etched Sakashima just to get it signed.
I mean,
I can't blame you, though.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I almost got a Liliana the Veil just so that guy could sign it for me.
Yeah. So, okay. One thing, the other thing. So I did point this out too.
Yeah.
So actually, I think I talked about this when we met up with Ryan and Kirby from Specular Board Games. Awesome people.
Yeah.
Hopefully planning on having them on the podcast soon, probably next week.
They were a blast to play
to
games
be like
with.
Part 2. Yeah. Oh, dude, those guys are awesome.
They're completely different from us when playing games.
Oh my. Yeah.
Like Well, they were really excited reading the how to play the game, and I'm normally always like pissed off, like always like, oh, okay, let me go through this. Where's that one thing I'm looking for? I'm like, I don't.
Kirby was
this.
calling you out though. Yeah. She was keeping you in check. I'm like, about time somebody kept this guy in check.
She's like, your meeples go here. I'm like, I'm just throwing them in the pile when I use them. Like,
but she was like being so nice about it too.
Yeah,
she was like, well, we need to make sure that we're all done. Like, there you go.
Like,
you tell
there was so many times like I'll put one down and then the rest of them I just put into the pile of our meeples group. Yeah. I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, what I was saying was, so with the art, right? So being card game players, like we see all the art, right, on these cards, and we're so used to just seeing the art on the card, right? Yeah. And so there were a couple of artists like Jason Engel, and then Liliana the Veil's artist was Steve Argyle, I believe. Yeah. But they have their pieces like displayed, like they had a Liliana on like a 10-foot tall cloth.
Yeah.
And so with Steve Argyle, his art is so super detailed.
Yeah.
Like
the crazy.
Well, okay, the servant of Bolas, what was that card?
A slave of Bolas.
Slave of Bolas.
Yeah.
Right. So she's got tears.
Yeah.
Tears in her eyes.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I know, but I'm like, it makes sense.
It makes sense. It's an angel who is pretty much like a mono white creature inside the game, becoming a slave to Nicole Bolas, who is
like the arch enemy, the biggest
ultimate bad guy.
The ultimate bad guy in MTG, basically. Yeah. But seeing that detail, it's like, dude, I don't see this when I'm just looking at the card.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see that kind of detail. So seeing that stuff blown up, it's like, it's crazy.
After I saw it, I was like, man, that would make it. I mean, they had the playmats for it, and I really wanted to get it. Like, it was gorgeous.
Well, now you know where to get it.
Yeah, that guy's artworks are really good. He also has a lot of ban cards.
Yes.
So, or used to be ban.
Yep.
Deathrite Shaman, the Bloodbraid Elf used to be ban. So, I forget what else he had. But he has a lot of just staple cards in Modern. Yeah. And, Legacy as well. So.
Yeah. But just seeing all that art was, for me, was really cool.
Yeah.
Getting card signed is always cool. But just seeing the art and meeting the artist is always a cool thing too. I was looking to see if they had any authors that Michael knew, because I can't even remember what the book series. There's a book. Michael reads a lot, but I was just looking to see if there were any authors that he would have known. Michael, you might have known some, but I didn't know. A lot of cool shirts. There was one I took a picture of. It was a picture of a D20, and they rolled a nat 1 and said hard no.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
That's a hard no. Yeah. So, but like that was pretty much day one. There's a lot of walking around, just seeing what all was there. So that was Thursday. Is there anything else that happened on Thursday?
Oh man,
did we play? We played a Commander game on Thursday, right?
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We played with.
Was that the 3-hour game?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it was. Yeah. I think it was a 3-hour game.
We could probably say their names.
Yeah.
Bobby and Bobby too.
So this game literally took at least 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Honestly, I think it was me.
It's usually you.
It's normally me.
Well, didn't you play Walls?
Yeah.
Yeah, you played Walls.
And I never dropped the walls.
No, there were. Honestly, that game was probably one of the best Commander games I've ever played. Yeah, it was really a lot of fun. Not like because like we went off or anything. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So one of the guys played a Kadima Slinking Sorcerer. It's a morph deck, basically.
Yeah.
It's a morph deck, and then the other one played mono.
I think it is Kadena,
yeah. The other one was mono green something.
Yeah, mono green elf or druid tribal,
something like
something
that.
along those lines.
Yeah. And then I played Coma, and then Jim played Walls.
Yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce that guy's name.
I don't even remember.
Honestly,
I can't remember.
Pramicon?
Yeah, Pramicon.
Pramicon?
Yeah. Pramicon, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's Pramicon.
Which is weird because I know how to say the longest name in Magic.
Oh, yeah.
For English.
I can't.
We're not going to say it today, though.
Asmo.
Yeah, that's what people call her. Asmo.
Yeah, Asmo.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yes.
Hell's Chef.
Yeah. But anyway, that game was fun. Mm-hmm. It was just a lot of fun. Honestly, that's like all I can say about it now.
Yeah, like it was so good.
All it's all up here. All the memories are up here, up in my brain.
So for
my brain holes.
For the game, each person who lost got 6 prize tickets, which isn't a bad amount.
Yeah.
And then the winner got 8. And I was like, wait a minute, we're literally fighting to see who gets 2 extra tickets.
Yeah.
And the game took 2 hours. I didn't even care who won at that point. I was just like, let's end this already.
Yep.
So,
and there was a time like I don't want to say we were stalled out, but we weren't really doing much to affect the board.
Yeah.
A lot of us were just building up our board states.
Yeah.
And so when it got to my turn, I'm like, okay, I can either do nothing or I can just try to advance the board state.
Yeah.
Like I can just start attacking and we got to do something. So I made the conscious decision. I'm like, okay, I will just start attacking and hopefully this will get the board advancing.
Yeah.
And it did. It took a few turns to actually do something because everybody else was like, there were a couple of board wipes. There were some board wipes that were tried, countered. It was crazy. It was a lot of stuff.
I think I had like 2 board wipes in my hand, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Like a lot of people, you had a lot of stuff on board.
I did.
The 2 Bobbies had a bunch of stuff on board, and I'm just like,
I finally got my commander back.
I don't even feel threatened. Yeah. Just because, like, I mean, people weren't doing anything, but it's also like I had answers regardless in my hand. Mm-hmm. So it really didn't affect me.
It got to the point to where I had my, oh man, we were even just talking about this card, that artifact that pumps everything on board for creatures that share creature type with it.
Coat of Arms.
Coat of Arms, there we go. And so, like, my creatures were getting, like, plus 37, plus 37.
And I copied the Coma, so I also had it. Yeah, so
you had a Coma.
Oh, that's why it took so long.
Yeah,
we both had a
that's
Coma.
Right. You had a Coma, yeah. My Coma got stolen, like, immediately.
As soon as you dropped it, it went to his upkeep, you made your Serpent, and he's like, yeah, that's mine now.
I'm like, dang it, I need some more protection for Coma.
Yeah. Need more free counter spells. That's what you need.
That's exactly what I need. So at that point, I was just salty because I'm like, I want my card.
Oh man, Dan was pissed.
I took it well. I took it well.
He took it definitely the wellest I've seen.
Yes. But eventually, it honestly got to the point where I'm just like, dude, I don't even care because we're just having a good time. Like, I didn't forget about it, but I'm just like, whatever.
Dan's like, that was 2 hours ago, whatever.
You're not wrong. So I'm like, all right, Bobby, I'm going to come in for 45.
Yeah.
For 45, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you took him down really low.
But he came back.
Yeah. That was the other thing. So... This guy had all of his creatures, I believe, bounce to his hand, and then Bobby 2, the guy playing mono green, took every one of his lands. He had nothing. We were on top. I can't remember
what card that was.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember what turn we were on. But it was later on. It was like halfway through the game, maybe within like the first hour. Yeah. And then he was just like land off the top, got back into the game very slowly. Yes. And by the end of it, he was the second player alive.
He got second.
Yeah. He got second.
I think I was the one who got knocked out first, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
I think so. Maybe. I can't remember.
I think you and Mono Green got knocked out roughly the same time. Yeah. Because I think I removed both of you.
Yeah.
So,
but it was a crazy game.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Oh no, you did lose first because then Mono Green like decked himself out, except
then he had the
like
one
he never
card,
died.
Abundant Harvest.
Oh wait, no, because I killed Mono Green and then I decked you out because you had 19 cards and I ulted Jace.
That's right.
Okay, yeah,
you ulted Jace. Yeah,
I took you both out.
I was close. I was on like 17 when you decked me out. I think it was something like that.
I'm fairly certain you were at 19.
Oh yeah, it might have been like that.
Away.
It might have been like that.
And then it went into the.
How many times did you ult Jace?
Twice. The group hug Jace that makes it to where everyone can draw. Yeah. I ultied him twice.
Yep.
I got him to 21 loyalty and popped him.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So I got decked. Which whatever.
All right, Dan.
Whatever.
Aside from Magic.
Yeah. Let's stop talking about Magic. So okay, I don't remember what day this was. Okay, so the whole conference, there was this game going on, and these guys were getting crazy.
Oh man,
they were so loud. Like we had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So finally. And I think we came upon this kind of by accident because we were playing that hero game.
This was day 3. This was Saturday.
Yes.
This is the day we were there all night.
Yes. This is the day we were there till a little after midnight.
Yeah.
So we were finally playing this game called Hero
Tales of the Book.
Something like that. Yeah.
Along those
so
lines.
the game actually is pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's
a little broken, but
we think because the rulings and the wordings on these cards are kind of confusing.
Yeah.
But it's basically you take control of one character and it's a shared deck.
Yeah.
So you don't have your own deck, but it's one deck of cards that everyone draws from. Which is not abnormal. I mean, there's plenty of games like that.
Yeah. I used to do that back in the day with Yu-Gi-Oh! We just have one deck and everyone just draws from it.
Yeah.
So
we're playing that because I think you got that day 1.
I didn't buy anything day 1.
So so it was day 2.
Yeah.
So we were wanting to play that, sit down and learn that like day 2, day 3, plenty of times. Mm-hmm. So finally we're like, okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna play this game. So we started playing it, and then there was this other game right next to where we were sitting.
Yes.
Okay. And I see wrestling card game. I'm like, what the heck? Wrestling. Now, granted,
these guys were loud.
Now, yes, before that, I didn't know that this was the same people.
Yeah.
Because in the hall, every day, basically, up to then, there were these guys, come to find out it was the same guys.
It was always the same people.
Were going so loud, yelling and screaming, being insanely crazy. Yeah. Like in a good way. Like in a good way.
They were having fun.
So they're sitting next to them like, excuse me, what the heck is this game? What are you guys playing? So this one guy's telling me about it. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. It's a card game, and there's some dice involved. I'm like, oh, interesting. And so the guy's like, yeah, the creator's just right over there if you want to talk to him about it. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So I didn't think anything of it at that point. So we sat down, and then he came up and talked to us.
So a little bit before this, right?
Yeah.
There was one guy who came over to our table. He's like, just so you guys know, don't freak out. There's going to be some people that are going to stand right behind you and probably yelling at the top of their lungs.
And they were literally like 5 feet from us.
Yeah. And so, there were a big group of people there. Yep. And then, like, first they started singing Happy Birthday, which we later found out it was to the creator's grandmother, who was a huge help in making
huge
the game.
Part of the game, basically.
Yeah, huge part of the game. And so they had that, and then there was a lot of cheering, and then they just yelled pretty loudly. And so we had no clue what was going on. None. At that point.
Yeah, none. So
fast forward.
Fast forward, I find out it's this game. And so we sat after I got done talking to this guy, we sat down back to our game. Then the creator comes up to us. He's like, hey, I heard you guys were asking about the game. I'm like, oh yeah, I was just wondering what this game is. And I didn't know he's a creator at that point.
Yeah.
So he brings over like a welcome deck or something.
Yeah, the demo deck or starter decks or something.
Yeah, so he brought over a couple of decks for us. And he's like, you guys want to learn them? We're like, yeah, we're at GenCon, I guess.
Or card game players.
We're card game players. So we're like,
talk me into it.
Heck yes. Oh, exactly. It's like card game. Sign me up. So we sit down and he starts teaching us the game. And I'm like it's super simple. It really is. Like for a card game player, it's really, really simple.
Yeah.
Really easy for us to understand. The only other wrinkle is there's dice involved.
Yeah.
So this game right here, Super Show is what it's called.
Yeah. SRG, I think is what
SRG Universe is like, they're on Facebook, Instagram. It's like all SRG Universe. But the game is called Super Show. A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. So as he's explaining it to us, it's a normal card game, right? And there's like 3 steps. There's 3 different types of cards. You got follow or lead. You have lead, follow up, and finish.
Yeah.
And so in the first card you have to play is you have to play a lead card. Once you have a lead card, then you can play a follow-up. Once you have a follow-up, then you can play a finish. Once you play a finish, if that's not countered, your opponent has to, since you're trying to finish your opponent off in a wrestling match, right? Yep. And so there's a count off, right? Just like there's wrestling. You got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so you got
3 chances. And basically what you have to do is you just roll. You roll a dice. You roll a dice. And so I can't remember when you roll. Not necessarily when you roll, but if you played the finish card, I can't remember if the person playing the card rolls and then the opponent has to basically beat the roll, essentially. It's something along those lines.
Yeah, I believe so.
And they have 3 chances to roll a higher number, essentially. So that's basically the game. It's basically like that. But one thing I mentioned to Jim was the thing I love about this game and other games like that is if you've ever played this person in Magic. I'm not thinking of a person in particular, but just a type of player who, when they're playing the game, they're just land, Llanowar Elves, counter spell, enchantment.
Dan, how are you going to Llanowar Elves into counter spell?
I'm not saying you do into that.
Guys,
I'm not saying into that.
Okay,
I'm not saying into that, Jim.
All right, I'm out. I'm out. You're going to disrespect me like that? Why don't you say Birds of Paradise?
I want to hear it. But essentially what I'm getting at is the mannerisms, and they're not into it. Yeah. Like, which, I mean, I get it. Like, they're a competitive player who is just, they're there to win. They're there to play. They're not really into it, which
it's just another
fine.
game.
It's just another game. Like, that's fine. But everyone who's playing this game they were so into it.
They were I would say 85% of them were really hypey.
Oh yeah.
Like, really hyped up every single game.
Yep.
And like, they'd be playing this for hours.
Oh yeah. They were, when we left, they weren't even done their tournament.
Yeah.
They had to go off site somewhere.
Yeah.
And so when we talked to the creator,
their tournament is the greatest title ever. It's the World Championship tag team match is pretty much what their stuff was.
That was the next day.
Rather than it just being, oh, this is my local tournament. We got locals tonight.
Right.
I'm fighting for the World Championship tag team match with my partner, Rainbow Girl, whatever their character is. I don't know what their character is.
I was looking up a bunch of their stuff on Facebook either yesterday or today. But dude, anytime they have a video or anything, they're so into it.
Yeah.
And they're like, today at 2:00, we've got the one, the only, it's a Rainbow Girl. It's crazy.
Oh man.
Oh, dude, it was insane.
That guy got the perfect people to work at his business. Yeah, these are just the people that he hired. So one guy had a megaphone with him. The other guy is just like another shoutcaster for the game, and it was ridiculous.
So meeting all of those guys was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. The creator, I can't remember what his name is. I think it's Jess or something. I can't remember exactly.
Steve?
Maybe it was Steve. It's been a couple days, but I'll have to double check.
Okay.
He was a really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Super, super nice, super dope. Gave us a lot of free cards, actually.
He hooked us up.
Yeah, he hooked us up.
Yeah.
Really down to earth, really, really nice guy. Mm-hmm. It was funny. As he's explaining it to us, he's like, do they call these interrupts in Magic? We're like, dude, how long have you been out of the game?
20 years. He's like, yeah, I think they're called interrupts. Like, I mean, you're not wrong, but you're not right.
Yeah. So that was cool. But meeting him was a lot of fun. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a blast.
So I think he was like one of the first creators of a game that we were able to really just sit down and talk to.
Yeah.
And he came up to us and introduced us to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a few boxes of product. I'm kind of interested to get into this really. And
we'll be playing soon.
We'll be playing this game for sure. So that's a super show. And so the other thing too. So it's the lead follow up finish. So LFF. Mm-hmm. They're fighting in the LFF Federation or something. So it's I was watching like a how to play video.
Mm-hmm.
And because he kept it the LFF, that way you knew lead, follow up, finish.
Yeah.
It kind of explained basically the mechanics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's super show. I'm kind of stoked to get into this.
So another funny story about Super Show, right?
Yeah.
When we were when we were playing Dinosaur World with Ryan and Kirby,
mm-hmm.
we were right next to the Super Show people,
yes.
right? And they were really loud, and I'm just like, what is going on over there? I'm like, really? It's these people at the convention, like that guy?
Yeah, are you that guy?
Are those guys, things along those lines. And then after we finished the game, a little bit after then, there was another guy who was like really excited again, won his match. And I'm like, yeah, you go, dude.
Yeah. Because before that, we're just like, what is going on?
Like, I went from the one side of not knowing what's going on into I am now in the circle and really happy for that guy.
Yeah.
Because I know how crazy the game is.
So the tournament that they had like the reigning champ who was like 12-0.
Yeah.
He went to the championship round and he lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
He lost to I can't remember who it was, but he lost.
Yeah. I want to say her name was her name Jasmine?
I thought it started with an A. I can't remember. It was like Ashley or something. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Okay.
But anyway, all I just remember is the guy who went undefeated lost. I think it was something like that.
Yeah. Then there was another guy who won a different tournament coming into this one. He was doing really well, but then the creator got like one of his quote unquote hitmen out there, a mercenary, to go take him out.
Take him out.
It was just like, what is this?
Dude, it was awesome. It was crazy.
He took him out of the tournament. He didn't actually do anything bad to the guy.
Yeah.
I just need to clarify.
Yeah. Don't ban us, YouTube.
Yeah, don't ban us.
Don't kick us off before we really get started.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun. So that was Super Show. I mean, that was probably one of the highlights, honestly.
Yeah, I think so.
And honestly, like it's the people. It was the people for that.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
it
for
was. Sure. But anyway, Dinosaur Island. We talked about that game was fun.
Dinosaur World.
Yeah, because there is Dinosaur Island.
Yeah.
Apparently, Dinosaur World is basically Dinosaur Island 2.0. I haven't played Dinosaur Island.
I don't know.
I'm not, but I've heard World is described as like Island 2.0.
Okay.
But anyway, World was fun. It was a lot of fun. So we've got another game here that I've been wanting to get into.
Dan's breaking stuff.
Breaking stuff here. So I think we're like. Right. So this is Skyter.
Yeah. This is a MOBA board
basically.
game.
It's a MOBA card game. So we demoed this Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, we demoed this Sunday. And I'd already been looking forward to this game. Like I'd already been.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for months.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while. And so finally able to get our hands on it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it did not disappoint. This is another one we were able to, I don't know if you talked to him as much, but I definitely did. Yakumo.
No, you definitely.
Yeah, so I talked to Yakumo.
Talking to the
artist.
The artist.
The artist, yeah. So I talked to Yakumo for quite a bit. He's one of the creators along with his brother. They're from Italy, right? So it took them 4 days to travel to GenCon. 4 days. That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so what Skyter is it is essentially a card-driven MOBA. MOBA stands for Massively Online Battle Arena. Am I right?
Multiplayer Online Battle Arena.
Got it.
The massive is for MMO.
Yeah. Right. That's what it was. That's what it is. So there's different maps that you can do. The base game comes with one map, actually 2 maps, but one board double-sided, 2 lanes and 3 lanes. There's also a expansion, but it's another map. It's a 1-lane map. So essentially what it is you have different heroes. I believe now there are 24 heroes total in the game. And what you do is you come to the game with 6 heroes, I want to say, and then you draft 4.
Yes.
Each hero, you basically build your decks, right? And the way you build your deck is each hero has a deck of 10 cards. And then your opponent comes with their 6. And then you each draft your heroes for 4, right? So you combine the heroes, you combine the decks for a deck of 40 cards. And so essentially the goal is to destroy your opponent's nexus.
Yep. You have towers you got to blow up, creeps that you got to take care of in order to push the lane, break their tower, or just kill them.
Yep. So one interesting thing about the game is there are alternate win conditions.
Yes.
And those are actually separate cards that are revealed randomly at the start of the game. So I don't remember how many total there are, but you have 3 different ones that are active during the game. So you can win by completing any one of them. So if you finish one of those objectives, the game ends immediately and then you win. So I mean, it's a card game, which is where we were like, okay, please, yes, please.
Yeah, let's try it.
But then it's also a MOBA with miniatures. So there's miniatures that you have to think about moving. And they're in hexes. So another strategic gameplay mechanic, which for us we're like, yeah. I mean, at least for me, I'm like, yes. So this is one that I'm really, really looking forward to. There's another game that they are working on that, I mean, it's been announced, but the Kickstarter is not live yet. I don't know when it's gonna be live, but it's called Skyter Horde.
Wasn't he saying in about a month?
That's what they're aiming for, I think.
Okay.
They're aiming for about a month.
Okay.
But I know one of the guys was saying it might get pushed for some reason, which is not abnormal, especially right now. And I'm fine with, like, you take your time.
Yeah.
And I know with the
better
shipping
to get it done right.
And with the shipping situation, like, I get it. It's fine. It is what it is. Like, it's the world we live in right now, so it's fine. But it's called Skyter Horde, right? And it's just a straight card game, but it's a tower defense card game. So I talked to Yakumo a little bit about it, so he's explaining it to me. So they kind of had it a little bit, so they were just showing it off a little, but it looked really, really cool. So again, card game, yes. Tower defense, oh yes. So speaking of tower defense, there's one other game that I think we just looked at a little bit. It's called Cloudspire by Chip Theory Games.
Oh yeah.
That one looks interesting. I want to look really more into that.
Yeah,
but that's like straight up tower defense.
Yeah, that's like putting creatures into specific lanes, going against your opponent, breaking down their tower. Yeah, that's really PvP.
Yeah, that looks really, really, really cool. I'm very interested in that. But Skyter, I've been watching Team Covenant's videos on this for a while. And it looks awesome. It looks really, really, really cool. So I'm glad we're able to get our hands on this. So want to start making content on this. So yeah, I mean that's Skyter. So
yep.
What else? Is there anything else? I mean this is one that I think I just threw in there, but it's called Brew. It's also by Pandasaurus, the same people who did Dinosaur World.
Look at this one. Oh yeah, that's right. It's got cute cards, and I can make potions.
Yes. It's like so about making potions and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it looks really cool. So yeah. I mean, I haven't really gotten to play it, but yeah. So that's Brew. So that looks awesome.
Now time for one of my favorite ones,
which we don't have yet. Don't have. But it's called Evian. Evian. I think it's pronounced Evian. Yeah, I believe it's called Evian. But that should be coming out within the month. Coming within the month. Yeah. Jim, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. So this one, it's a grid on a board. It's a 4x4 grid, and you have little minis that you move around.
Is it 4x4?
Yeah. Yeah, it's 4x4. Yeah. So. You're able to move your characters. You have energy. You have mana resources. And what it is you're playing as these different characters. You can be a pyromancer, an arcane wizard. You can be a knight. You can be an illusionist. And what it pretty much is like a World of Warcraft PvP arena or any kind of MMO PvP arena.
I found it similar to Skyter. It's a little similar to Skyter.
But the objective in this game is to really just kill your opponent rather than trying to push like a wave or take out their nexus.
Yes.
So this one is more arena based PvP, and it's a card game as well. The character has their deck, and this game was explosive from the start. Well, actually, first turn we did pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
we gained resources.
I spent the majority of that game. I basically spent the whole game learning it. Learning because I didn't really know what was going on. So the demo was really, really helpful. For me, just because I'm like I don't really know what's going on.
I think I picked that game up a whole lot faster than
one of the things that I lost focus on was the grid and the minis.
Yeah.
It's not just a card game. And the same thing with Skyter. It's like, it's not just a card game. You gotta pay attention to the board, and the arena, right? And your minis. Because if you don't, so the character, I was playing the blue character, Jim was playing the red character. And so with your cards, the spells, they have a range, right? And so one thing that the creator, I think his name was Aaron, really nice guy. And then Ansel, I believe it was Ansel.
I do not remember.
But I think she's the main, basically the main brains behind the game. Talking to them was really nice too. But anyway, Aaron was saying that a lot of the red characters' spells had like a range of 2, and the blue guy was a range of like 3.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even trying to move away. I was mostly like, okay, what cards do I have in my hand, and what can I really do?
Yeah.
Not really paying attention to the range at all.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were actually going to do more, is play more to that range as to like what was needed.
I should have just backed away when I couldn't do anything. I should have just been like, okay, spend an action point to just move, spend another action point to just move.
Force me to pretty much just
run away, right?
Yeah, force me to go ahead, and then like
there was a card,
get stuff
but
back.
at that last turn, I had a card. There were a couple cards, teleport, so I could just, instead of moving, just teleport to another spot. But because I had those status tokens, I couldn't even play that card.
Yeah.
So I should have just moved, is what I should have done.
Yeah. The mine and Dan's game, it was turn 1, we did pretty much nothing, got resources. Turn 2, Dan came up and bopped me in the face for 13 damage, which I started with 40 and you had 37 I believe. Yeah. So I
hit him for quite a bit.
He hit me for quite a lot. And And they also have these passive cards as well. So like Dan's, he would be able to get rid of an energy to get back mana.
I can't remember whatever they're called. It's power.
Yeah,
it was power.
For mine, I had 2 passives.
There's basically different forms of resources. You've got essentially you have orange tokens and then you have blue tokens. The blue ones were power. I can't remember what the red ones were called. Energy. That's right. Yeah. So one of the passives
or initiative.
No, the initiative was the red token.
Oh, okay.
The initiative was the red token, which you got every turn, and you could spend the initiative to draw a card. That's what you could do. So again, as you can tell, there's different resources. There's a lot of different things you have to manage in this game. So one of the passive
placement, cards in your hand, your passive abilities, your resources.
One of the passive abilities on the blue wizard was you could turn an energy token into power. So 2 power resources. And so the cards in your hand could either there could be a card in your hand that cost an energy to use, but if the card resolves, you end up getting 2 power out of it, plus the card's effect. So that that alone is cool. That's an interesting wrinkle and very cool to me because I'm spending one resource, but I'm also getting another resource. There's also cards to where you have to have both of these resources and spend both of these resources in order to do the effect. I think that one card that I dealt 13 damage on or with, I think I had to spend
Storm? Was that it?
Yeah, something like that. I think I had to spend 2 energy resources and 2 power resources in order to cast that spell.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And so one of the other things it did was you target a space, you target a location. And once you target that location, that and the adjoining spaces each had energy tokens placed. And then if you move to that location, then you got 2 energy resources or power or something like that. There's a lot of different things in this game.
I was just thinking about the stun card to where it stuns you and then when it goes to grave stun. Dude, I didn't know what stun was. Apparently it gets rid of mana. Right?
No,
I thought it got rid of your blue energy.
So essentially, I think if I remember correctly, I think what it did was you gained a status token. You gained 1 or 2 status tokens. And then once you got these status tokens, if you took an action or you spent a resource, you could get rid of those. I believe
so. Yeah, so that was with the debuffs, but stun was its own thing, and I'm fairly certain that got rid of your mana.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And then we were like, then it's put into the grave, and he's like, yeah, so it happens again.
So the one that you did, I think, was you stunned me, and then because with the stun, you lost a resource, either energy or power. And then what you did...
That was a different card.
Well, right, but what you did was you gained a resource of the other one. So because I didn't have any resources, you got both resources.
Yeah, so, it was dirty.
It was dirty. I got screwed, basically.
So I bring Dan relative, a little bit low. But on his next turn, I was at 27. He destroyed me on that following turn. You hit me for a lot of damage. But what it did was then pop my 2 passive abilities.
Yeah.
I went into invoke phase, which was look at top 3. Cast any of them for free. And then the other one is when you go into second wind, deal 5 damage to your opponent. So right off of that was 9 damage just for free on Dan's turn. Yeah. Then I went into my turn and did a lot of damage to you as well.
I was not happy.
Yeah, I think it was 20 some damage, over 20 damage.
Well, because that card you cast for free was essentially in Magic terms an enchantment that did the same thing at the end of your turn. But that's what you got for free.
No, that's not what I got for free. I got 4 damage for free that made you discard a card.
No, that was the other ability that you had.
I cast that card, the apotheosis, from my hand. That wasn't off the top.
No, it was. Because that other ability, the thing that I took 4 damage off of was your other that other ability that from your invoke or whatever.
That the invoke, the top 3 cards was deal 4 damage and you discard a card.
There were two. I remember this. I remember this.
Passives.
Fight me. You can fight me
were two
right
passives.
here, right now. I know. Yeah.
There were two of them.
Yes.
I know for a fact because none of the cards I got off the top were that good.
The one that you got off the top, I'm pretty sure was that basically that enchantment.
From the 3,
yeah,
it was not that enchantment.
I
cast that on a different turn.
I'm pretty sure it was.
So that was the second to, I guess, final turn.
Because it triggered, it basically triggered again.
Yeah, I did it my last turn to then get that effect, and then went into your turn, stopped your activation of the ability, silenced you. And
it's not like it mattered because I got screwed over.
Yeah.
I basically got screwed over.
Yeah,
and I was not happy.
So why I was even getting into this story, the creator was like, "Oh my god, what happened?" Like he was like, "This is the most pop off I've seen in this game all weekend." Like he was surprised as to what was going on.
And like I was also in the point to where I'm like, I'm just learning this game and trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
So I felt like, well, I wasn't necessarily at a disadvantage because we both came in at the same point essentially.
Yeah.
So
and even before going into your final turn, he looked at your hand. He's like, "All right, it's going to be close." And then when we went into your turn, I played the silence on you.
That screwed me over,
and he was like, "You screwed him."
Yeah.
Dan's like, "Look
dirty.
at all this stuff I can't play."
Yeah, I couldn't do a thing in my hand.
Yeah.
Which that's why I said like at that point, the only thing I could do was move.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I had the resources to do that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because I think the timing when I went to do a thing was when you played the silence. I don't know, something like that. But again, it also, like when you're playing a game that you can think your way out of situations because you know how to play the game.
Yeah.
When you don't, like when you're just learning it, it's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, there's going to be stuff you just don't know.
You just don't know, which that all comes with learning a new game.
Which is
especially when it's a complicated game like that, which it is complicated.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, and that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when there's a lot of things like that, there's a lot of learning that you got to do to get into it. But it was awesome. It was so cool.
Yeah, that was
like
that
the
game was
art was
else.
Beautiful. It was very, very cool. Definitely that was another one of the highlights. Or games,
and we didn't get to play they had more than one character or more than two characters, but it was just from what I know from playing MMOs, like the fire mage that they'd had was really good in terms of the cards and what they were looking to do. The arcane mage, which is what you were playing, was really spot on in like trying to get resources every single turn, manage resources really well.
I'm very interested to dive into that and just. I feel like especially with games like that, you really have to learn a character very well and learn the cards that are there. And just like any card game, learn your deck. Learn your deck very well, and then you're able to come to the table, sit down, and do really, really, really well at those games. So, but it was fun. It was a blast. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. And then there was actually part early on in the game that we were playing. I played a card that was said it dealt 2 damage, and then for every additional mana you pay for it, it would deal 1 more damage.
Oh, that's
right. Like funny. It was called Unleashed something.
No, but you had to pay all of your resources.
So when I did it, I was like, all right, let me think about how much I need for next turn. All right, I just need this. I'm going to get this many in the following turn. So I'm just going to put 4 into it, and then he had
like a total of 5 available.
At this point, I think I had something like 7. Yeah, it was full power.
Right, but you weren't going to use all of your resources.
I was not planning on it. Right. And he comes around and he's like, "Oh yeah, so you use all your mana?" I'm like, "No, I just want to use like 4." He's like, "No, it's called Unleashed, not Leashed." Yeah. I'm just like, it took me a moment. I was like, I stared at him. Yeah. I'm like, "Oh my."
Because it was essentially a keyword where you had to use. You could either pay the minimum cost, which was basically the cost of the card, or you could do Unleashed, which was pay everything. Yeah. And so, but the way he said it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's not called Leashed. It's called Unleash.
You're a fire mage.
Yeah.
So
like
great.
talking to the creators of these games, like in instances like that, is really funny. Like it's really cool because like you're kind of, like at that point it's like we're getting into their head a little bit. They're giving us a sneak peek kind of into their mindset of when in creating these games. It was pretty funny.
Oh, but my favorite card was the Apotheosis, which made
was
it to where
that enchantment thing?
Yeah, it was the enchantment. So when I played it, it says you get to invoke again at the end of your turn. So we got the effect. I did whatever it was, and then I put it into the graveyard because I'm like, all right, it was used. And the guy looks at me, he's like,
and I knew. I'm like, no, that's like basically an enchantment that just stays on board.
So he tells me, he's like, that stays on board. I'm like, what did you make?
Yeah.
And I like pointed it at him. I'm like, what did you do?
And at that point, I have cards in hand that I'm like, one of them's like a counter spell that I couldn't cast. Yeah. But then I'm like, okay, no worries. He just gets an extra trigger, goes to my turn. I have a card that can destroy that.
Which
destroy
now
it.
We got to like why so many cards stated destroy this card and what you could actually destroy. Because everything else we were doing was just sorcery cards, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because like that one's like attached to a character. Your character or whatever.
Yeah. So I was just like everything's sorcery or instant and sorcery. Yeah. And then and so me and the creator were laughing about the what have you done? What have you made? Yeah. And then I look over at his girlfriend who was in the middle of another game. Mind you, we had two people on the side of us. They were like, what is going on over here?
Because me and Jim, who are Magic players, so the Aaron was like, he was just diving into everything. We're like, dude, you can just throw all this information at us because we're we can pretty much absorb all of this stuff really quickly. Yeah. And I think the other people were like, they're not card. I don't think they were.
The
card game
one lady
players.
Wasn't a card game player. Okay, I believe her husband or boyfriend, whatever it was, I don't know. I believe he's played games roughly along it, but I mean, he had a D&D shirt on, so.
Yeah. So like, we're just like, just throw everything at us. We'll be able to pick this up real quick. Yeah. Which we did.
Yeah, we were popping off, and the lady was like, "What is this game?" She's like, "I don't understand this."
Yep. And I'm like, "Oh no!" And I'm dead. I'm dead. Which I was. But it was fun. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, that game was great.
Because when you said, what did you create? Oh, what did she say, Ainsley? She was like, we made a pretty awesome game. That's what we did. Something like that. I'm like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you definitely want to feel powerful in these games. That's for sure.
Yeah. So... yeah, it was fun. It was a first GenCon to remember. Yeah. So what else did we do?
I think my favorite thing of the entire weekend was just being able to hang out with Ryan, Kirby, John, and Will playing games. Yeah. That was probably the best part.
We got to hang out with Ryan and Kirby from Specular. Yeah. And we got to play Magic with John and Will. So on our last episode, we talked to John and Will from Roll for Crit. Mm-hmm. And we were like, all right, so let's meet up at GenCon and play Magic, and we did. Yeah, we did. It's funny. We played a couple of games with them, and they were all cut short.
Yeah, they were.
They were all cut short. But I mean, it's just the nature of.
And then we stalked them at dinner.
Yeah.
We went to a PF Chang's.
Yeah, when we played Magic with them, they had to leave for their dinner reservation, and then we said where they were going to dinner. I'm like, PF Chang's? That sounds pretty good.
We talked about it we
did because we walked by it the day before on our way back to the car.
We should go there. I'm like,
yeah. So when they said, I'm like, let's call up and get a reservation. So we called up and they were like, you can get it to your reservation in like 30 minutes. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we went there for dinner and they're like, oh, hey guys. Yeah. So that was funny. Yeah. That was cool. But I
swear we were not stalking you guys.
No,
we were just like, let's do that.
Let's do it. It sounds good. Yeah. It sounds cool. And the food was good. I enjoyed it.
It was okay.
I liked it.
It just wasn't exactly what I was wanting. I was wanting sesame seed chicken, and it was sesame chicken, which is not the same thing.
Right. But yeah, it was. And one thing that well, like Jim said, like I did enjoy like just hanging out with all those guys, Ryan and Kirby and John and Will,
and meeting the people during the Commander pods as well.
Oh yeah, yes.
We met really cool people there, and we met some not cool people there. That's a story for a different day.
That is a story for a different day. I feel like that's a story for Magic people.
Yeah,
really, is a story for Magic people.
Whew.
Just don't play Mycos and Gladys and Commander.
Just have fun, guys.
Just don't do it, please.
Just have fun.
Don't be that guy. Don't do it.
It's not bad if you just end the game, which he kind of did.
He kind of did.
He kind of just ended it.
Another day, another time, another day,
another story,
another day, another story. We'll leave it at that.
Ooh, okay.
We'll leave it at that. So anyway, yeah, I had a lot of fun. But I think same with Jim. I think one of my favorite things was just sitting down and playing games with new friends. Honestly, it was really cool getting to meet John and Will, because if you listen to our last episode. Like I had been watching their content for a while, like a lot, when I was getting into DC Deck Builder and Marvel Legendary. So just meeting them was really cool, and just being able to sit down and play games with them was a lot of fun. Just meeting people at conventions like this was really, really cool. I had a lot of fun doing that. I'm glad I did not worry about we didn't worry about getting any content while we were there. We just... for the first time, I want to go and just enjoy the experience, and we did. So
it would have been a lot.
It would have been. But the other thing too, in doing that, like there's gonna be a lot of planning that goes into it. You got to plan out what you're gonna do, which I was not prepared for. Like I would not have been prepared to do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you had said, like when we went, you were like, I haven't even looked to see what's going to be here, who's going to be here. Yeah. I have no clue. I'm just going to go and have fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we're going to go and create content, we can't do that. Yeah, like we have to get meetings set up.
We have to know who's going to be there, stuff to ask them.
Yes. We basically have to have all our ducks lined up in a row and then go from there. Yeah. Like that's work. Like that's what work is. Like you've got to do the follow up. You got to do all that work leading up to it. So not prepared for it this time. But we were prepared. I was prepared to have fun, and we did. So I'm already looking forward to next year. Anything else that we forgot to mention?
I'm sure there was.
Probably.
There was a lot of stuff.
There really was. There was so. Oh man! Like when we got back at the hotel. Oh my gosh! Getting back.
Guys, if you're in Indiana and you own a restaurant or food place, stay open past midnight, please. Just do that, please. Especially on conventions.
Seriously, you'll make a killing.
Oh man!
Holy cow! We drove. I don't know how many places. So that day, we were. Dude, we didn't like I said, we didn't leave till midnight. We didn't even eat dinner because we were just, I felt like we didn't have time. We just didn't get up. We didn't make it a point to get up and leave to go eat.
Time. We lost track of time.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. We lost track of time. I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. But still, when we left, I'm like, dude, let's
go to McDonald's.
Nope, they're closed. We went to the gas station across the street. Nope, it was closed.
Yeah, they were closed.
And then I'm like, okay, now what? So I pulled up my phone. I had to find one pizza place that was open until 3.
Yeah, we had to check every fast food place in the area. Nothing was open. And
then I'm like, okay, well, we're just gonna get pizza from here, and then that's it. And we did. And I don't think we.
Set up more street lights. It was dark. It was so dark. It was so dark. We're in some cute little town, and then it was just pitch black. All the store, some lights were on inside the store, so you could see some stuff. But it was just there were no street lights at all.
Yep. Yeah, it was really dark. It was really dark. But you know, it's a cute little town, right?
Yeah.
It's a cute little town. So anyway, so we've got a few new games that probably be creating some content for.
Yep.
Looking forward to it, honestly. It's always nice finding new games to play for the channel. But hey, were you at GenCon? If you were at GenCon, what did you think? Like, for us being our first GenCon and it being kind of weird with COVID, I no clue what it's normally like.
Yeah.
So, if you've been there before, let us know how different it was. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. Did you have a favorite game that was there? What wasn't there? I know there were quite a few things not there. Like Upper Deck wasn't there. Anything Asmodee wasn't there. Yeah. Plaid Hat Games wasn't there. Quite a few games or publishers, and those are big publishers too. Yeah. So very interested to see next year what it's going to be like. But like with Fantasy Flight not being there, they announced a lot of things on their like Fantasy Flight in-flight report, something like that. Okay. They announced quite a bit of things, quite a bit of stuff that we might be talking about in the future. But yeah, if there was anything else, like if you guys had a favorite thing, let us know. But yeah,
what games you checked out, who you grouped up with, cool stories you met.
People if you've got stories, let us know.
Yeah.
We've got quite a few stories that you heard today, but so we're very interested to know if you've got anything. You can email us at hobbiesandhappiness@gmail.com. Jim, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Morgan HNH.
You can find me on Instagram at _DG Campbell and on Instagram at Daniel.G.Campbell. So Jim, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to bed. Until next time, thanks for being here, everybody, and we will catch you in the next episode. All right, see you, everybody.
Take care.